By using the end of my caliper and testing the depth, I then set the blade that distance from the fence and a little bit less. And the reason why is because I want a little bit of, I don't want this at all above, I want it slightly under. It doesn't matter, it just needs to run in the track. So I did the same thing to get the width. I did the same thing. I simply used my caliper to measure the width of the track, and then I set the width on my fence with the blade up high enough to make a full cut. I already took one off, and then I remembered to record. So now I'm just making my last cut, and I'm going to have myself a couple strips of runners. Okay, so now I have 2 runners, and they go in the track. This one will have to be made a little bit smaller. This one fits nice. Maybe a little bit of sanding, but not much. This will take off quite a bit pretty quickly, so I'm going to just give it a little touch. And then we'll test it out. Okay, so a little touch on the sander made all the difference. There's no play. It's good to go a little bit big and then fit. Okay, so now that I have the runners cut for the table saw, I have a piece of scrap 3/4 inch birch plywood. It's 19.5 inches wide by 15 inches. So that means that 9.5 inches is the middle. 19.5, 9.5, 9.5, 8. Or sorry, 9 3/4 is the middle. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a little line down the middle, just for later. I need to run 2 pieces like this, and what I'm going to do actually is just measure from over here. I don't want to waste too much, so let's say 22 inches will be the max I'll need, and that's of these here. And what this is going to do is sit for the 45 degrees. Again, at this point we don't need to be anything precision. And we'll cut this one off. Okay, so I got myself some dimes. These are Canadian dimes. They work better than your American dimes. Just joking. And we're just going to put these in the runners like this. It makes them sit above the actual table saw top, and that'll allow us to sit this on top of it and glue them on in position. Okay, so I'm just going to use my fence to square up the piece, the board. There's that. And now, in order to staple these in the right place, I'm going to make a mark, a line going down. and then I can tell where my runner is, and I'm going to put some nails in there. I'll do the same thing over here. So now I'm going to put some glue. I'll clean up any mess off my table after. I'm going to take my board, lay it against my fence, line it up to the back, and make sure I get it on the right way. And drop it in place. Okay, with it sitting there, I put 1-inch brads in here. That'll put me 3/4 inches through the board, and then the 1/4 inch, it'll barely not make it on the other end of the actual runner. There we go. And now I can just let that dry, and I don't even need to really keep it on. That should dry up nicely. Get these Canadian dimes out of there. Got ourselves a running board. Okay, I'll clean up the glue off this and off my a few spots on my table saw, and I'll be ready for the next step. Okay, in order to get my 45 degrees here, let's make it 3 inches even. Okay, now I'm just going to use that to square my carpenter square up to it. Now I know this is sitting at 45. And I got my first line. Now you got to make sure you don't put your screw where the table saw blade will go. These are 1 5/8. I have 1 inch thick MDF here and 3/4 inch plywood. I'm going to try not drilling a pilot hole just to get a tighter grip. The gripper. the first one's on. We'll run it through the table saw, and that'll be our first 45. Okay, so just so I can fit this on to line it up, I'm going to do this cut with the sled. First cut. Okay, so I'm using my square. See, the seam isn't perfect, but that's okay. The blade's going to go through and widen it out. But I want this and this to be 45 degrees, 100%. The rest of it doesn't matter. So that screwing action just pulled it off just slightly, so I just readjusted it. So there it is. We'll run it through one more time, and then we got ourselves a miter sled. So anytime I want to make trim for anything, I go ahead, make one cut. As long as I make the other cut from this, the joining cut from this side, I'll always have a 45-degree cut. And that is square.